You guys can watch this later. All right. So we had this session last Thursday for a handful of folks who joined us, I think about 12. And the consensus was they really, really enjoyed it. They wanted to see a little bit more about the business development side, somewhat of a, also making sure we split 50-50 time with a sales focus, not just on the recruiting side. So what I've done today is kind of modified my presentation to make sure that it covers both sides of the fence, and a lot of the things we're going to talk about are really going to be around establishing an even stronger and more consistent brand for RGP and making sure that that works with our clients and with our candidates. I'm also going to talk about a thought leadership land grab going on LinkedIn, so we can kind of working on both sides, how to write successful emails, some different resources I've provided to you guys, and then really setting up the ultimate profile here on LinkedIn. So I'm going to just kind of dive in. I wanted to introduce the team we have here that is basically dedicated to helping you guys win on LinkedIn. So I'm, again, kind of more of a rover and one-on-one support, but we do have a larger team and specialists dedicated to you guys depending on what you need help with. So I'll make sure you're able to connect with the right people as quickly as possible to get the answers you guys need instead of being tossed around and emailed and forwarded and whatnot. So I have also created a private group that I would love for you guys all to join. LinkedIn for Resources Global Professionals, and it is closed, so I would have to basically allow you guys in after requesting. But in there, again, you're going to have access to a webinar series I've created for leveraging your brand, really creating, this more of a magnet type effect for candidates and clients instead of having to go out and constantly try to be like a sharpshooter and, really targeting people directly. So really great stuff in there. Again, email best practices, how to run better Boolean search strings, how to leverage filters. There's some really awesome content I'll be showing you guys there. Also some changes and just kind of, again, minor tweaks to your overall presence and strategy. So again, kind of talking about how we like and share comments and articles, how can we just take and just twist this a little bit to work in our favor for our company and brand development so that we can make more sales and place more candidates quickly and really build a more magnetic and engaging brand. And then again, sprinkled throughout the whole presentation and the conversation to follow. This is a very, very short deck. It's like 5 slides. So I'm going to be sprinkling business development and sales tips kind of throughout. So again, let's just pop in right here. This is your success team at LinkedIn. On the top left, you can see Mark Grimshaw. He's actually in charge of the relationship between RGP and LinkedIn. So he's the one who's working with your leadership team and strategizing on product and helping you guys be successful. Me on the middle right-hand side, I work, again, kind of like him. I'm an extension of him, kind of on the ground floor, working individually with your offices and with your teams and kind of getting you the day-to-day things that you guys need. He's got an analyst, Emily, who pulls on the reporting and helps to show like benchmarking on how successful you guys are. Her and Jerry Miller on the top right have similar type roles, except Jerry's more just product focused, where Emily's good at providing a lot of the data to show how you guys are, working against your peers, against internally, and just again overall success. Nina Ong is one of our best media specialists, and she helps with, again, the marketing and branding side. One of the bigger initiatives on LinkedIn, the kind of a higher market and sell model, helping companies to attract or to place the right talent, really brand themselves as a consulting firm or business of choice on LinkedIn, and then how do we spread that message, and grow our business. And then our tech support guy on the bottom right, Jonathan Ellison, anything tech-related product that's, you have an issue with something, an error, malfunction, or any problem you're having, he's more the guy you go to right there for technical troubleshooting, and I'm more on the kind of like product addition or discussion and strategy side. So again, a very well-rounded team here with a lot of great backgrounds. They can help you guys be successful in leveraging our platform. So one of the resources I want to talk about, I mentioned in the startup here, was LinkedIn for RGP. So this group, you're going to notice a few different things within here. You're going to be seeing, like I told you, a webinar series that I created, a 4-part series that covers, introduction to ecosystem today. How are people winning on LinkedIn and why? How has business development, sales, recruiting all changed in the last, 5 to 10 years since LinkedIn's been introduced. And again, what makes up successful companies here and how can you do that? And then we dive into the second session, which I'm actually going to show you guys the link to in a minute, and that's actually how to rebuild your personal profile to convert at a high rate, prospects, whether it's candidates or client potential. So how do we tell a really compelling story that is the RGP brand, and how do we do that consistently across every profile so that all the salespeople, all the recruiters, everybody, again, has a really much higher success rate of converting a viewer from an email that maybe you sent to looking at your profile, to then following it to your company page and really understanding why they should connect with you guys and what they should be doing next. So very powerful stuff. I'll walk through some basics on a personal profile in a minute here. Third one will be actually company page branding. How do you guys put great content and thought leadership onto your company page? And then be able to take that content and share it effectively in the right ways to the right people and the right audiences, really to share that very specific, again, value proposition to that direct audience so that we can have a really high conversion rate and really build an even larger brand for RGP on LinkedIn. And then the fourth one is basically how do you write, great messages, great emails, great job postings, whatever it is you guys are writing on LinkedIn. The fourth session of that webinar series is about winning messaging strategies. So that's one example of what's in this group. I've also got Boolean search if you feel like, you're 50-50 or pretty good at Boolean, but you can get better. This guy, Glenn Cappy, created an excellent video talking about Boolean in a different way than anyone I've ever heard. Talks about it in more of an art form where you draw insights from the results you gather from your guys' search string. So instead of just looking for talent, targeting that possible candidate or talent and then reaching out to them and trying to figure out the next string you want to mix around, it's really what did you learn from that and how can we be more dynamic and strategic in our next search? How are we learning from this? So again, more of an art form than a science. I don't think Boolean can ever be perfected, and so he really teaches it in an awesome way. So that's in there as well. And also you can see in-mail best practices. I know it's going to be a very big one for everybody. Just again, how can I leverage commonalities? How can I leverage, maybe, for example, the video of 3 different filters I can use to create a really compelling in-mail message. It's going to basically convert somebody to respond to me at a higher rate and more quickly. LinkedIn pushed out a guide to modern recruiting for those recruiters that are on the call. A definitely awesome guide there. And then also this is a forum for your discussion topics. So keep this in mind. Anything that you feel wasn't covered today or that you have more questions about or you want to see a video of, or I'm happy to make little short 2-minute tutorials and videos on how to do things effectively on LinkedIn. I don't want to spend the whole time just showing 50 different tips and tricks. I want to talk about big things that move the needle for your guys' company and really create a snowball effect to really make you, again, magnetic and just convert at a high rate. So all the little nitty-gritty details and questions you guys have, I would love it if you would post within the group here once you join and just let me know what you want to learn more about. I'm totally happy to support you guys in whatever it is you're trying to succeed in. And then for those who are on Recruiter, actually within your LinkedIn Recruiter dashboard, if you hover over your photo in the top right, there's a link to training. And if you actually look at this deck here, when I post it to the group, you can click on the video as you see at the top, the link. But basically, we've redone the Learning Center with self-paced tutorials for all those recruiters who just feel like, hey, I need to learn how to apply a more efficient workflow in Recruiter or learn how to run better Boolean within Recruiter. How do I write scalable emails? How do I just get more out of this platform? We've totally revamped that Learning Center. So definitely worth your time checking out. And again, the video is there. And if you hover over your photo inside of Recruiter on the top right, training and get started in 60 minutes with Recruiter. That's where you guys are going to go. So again, maybe you guys jot a note down. Go ahead and join this group or request to join LI for Resources Global Professionals. And I'll go ahead and add anybody after our call here. So again, talking about the webinar series, this is the one I mentioned. It's in the group, Recruiting in the Digital Age, tip of the day. We think of LinkedIn as our digital resume, right? And this is talking about for either our personal selves or for our company. And usually what this is meant to do is to kind of validate ourselves, right? Our past experience, our endorsements, people speaking well on the work that we've done. This is saying, hey, look at me, I'm capable of doing this successfully, whatever this is. So that's very important to validate yourself with your profile and your company page, but I also want you to think about educating with your profile. If you can teach industry-related, knowledge, or teach people how to become even better with their business, how to be more successful in running their business, whoever you're trying to target. You guys are a consulting type firm. This is a great way for you guys to take some articles or maybe some concepts that you really believe in and want to share, and put these things on your personal profiles. And my suggestion for doing this would actually be in such a YouTube format or a SlideShare, like PowerPoint format. You can load these media pieces onto your profile, and we'll jump onto this in just a moment. So again, we want our profile to tell a bigger story than just validating ourselves. We want to educate those who are viewing our profiles. Fun fact, actually, the #1 thing on LinkedIn to do is viewing each other's profiles, as most would probably guess. We hover between the 6th and 7th most visited website in the entire world at any given day. So essentially, the 6th or 7th most popular thing on the internet to do is view each other's profiles on LinkedIn. So I always tell recruiters or salespeople, hey, you feel like you've got this nailed down, it can always be done better. And again, this is more of the altruistic, educational perspective here. And if you are educating people either how to be better at their job, how to be more successful in their business, and again, you can obviously plug in how you can help, or how a candidate can develop themselves, how can they get better and prepare themselves to be better at their job or to find that job they want. Now, that education piece, it shows that you guys are much more, it also validates you, that the value proposition is different and it's higher. So this is uncommon for most firms or recruiting firms or consulting firms to do this really well, and it's very easy. So I'll make sure you guys do this, and this is again part of this webinar series. And by doing these two things, we're going to differentiate you guys from the rest of the firms that are out there, plain and simple. And again, this is just, it's taught well on LinkedIn, but I will tell you that it's really not leveraged to its potential often. It's very easy to do, and I'm going to show you guys some quick ways on how to do this. So again, there is this land grab going for thought leadership on LinkedIn. So you want to establish that industry, that market segment that you want to take away and basically establish as your own, which you guys I'm sure already have targeted, and I'm sure you already have a decent chunk of. But again, it's more of the teaching side and educational piece that, people join LinkedIn not always just to get a great job, but they want to know how to be better at the job that they've got. So whether that be, how you guys can partner with them, or you can teach them about things within the industry that can make them more successful as a business. This is more of, again, the altruistic point of view that's going to really come back to you guys in a big way. And, thinking about these people who are following your company, there's some really powerful data behind why people follow companies on LinkedIn. So again, if we can attract them to our company page, to our profiles, if we can get them to become a brand ambassador for us, here are the reasons why they're coming to follow you. 71% of the time, it's new jobs. Great for recruiting on your guys' end, on the side that you guys do the talent acquisition and talent placement on, attracting new people to your actual company RGP to bring new talent to your business, but also for placements. Just as important is news and insight. So I think of this in a rule of 3 when you guys are posting to your company page, as you already have a couple thousand followers here already. This is about a rule of 3. The postings you're going to put up, they say about Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or 3 times a week. You want to put something that's industry related, so some type of news that talks about the industry from crystal ball perspective, right? You guys are working hand in hand with current clients that may be potential clients that you're reaching out to and trying to establish a relationship with, obviously prospecting for new business. You're working with similar type of businesses in similar types of industries, that have shared with you what they're doing. They've partnered with you. They talk about what they see happening in the future and how they're gearing up to be successful in that. And, that gives you guys, again, a crystal ball perspective on that industry and the things you guys are learning from these relationships. Obviously, you're giving a lot because that's why they hire you guys. They're already very knowledgeable, should have a ton of stuff to share. It's going to help people be successful on LinkedIn, but, day in and day out, working and partnering with your current business, they're going to be sharing things with you that, as you find articles on LinkedIn or other places or blogs or company websites, we want to be able to just click share and post these things to your guys' company page. Because again, if we bring them to this page, we want them to be impressed with, wow, RGP has a really good grip on what's happening in the industry. They're making me think of things in a completely different way, or really educating and tweaking my perspective. And man, this is just really insightful, and I'm really impressed. And we want that page and your profile to be so simple in that message. And again, more importantly, what should they do next after viewing? I like to blatantly call out, follow us. If you're interested in the things we're writing about, follow us. Follow us to have us established in your newsfeed on LinkedIn, so you can keep finding about these awesome insights and news and industry-related knowledge that we're sharing. And they go, oh, absolutely, that makes total sense. But a lot of times that light doesn't go on and the conversion doesn't happen. So important. So industry-related update. The second would be a company brand update, so something regarding RGP. And then the third would be about new job opportunities or postings for jobs. So these again are the kind of three different things you want to focus on, creating a cadence around posting weekly. And again, this can be shared. But what does this mean exactly to us as recruiters or salespeople? I mean, because this honestly does apply to both. If we can really get a very targeted audience of followers, and we can grow this audience, because again, birds of a feather really do flock together. It's very easy to have the snowball effect happen. As you can see here, I'm sure you're already reading this slide, that a follower is 78% more likely to accept your in-mail. So again, this is for recruiters, and it also applies for salespeople as well. If they're following your company, they have basically raised their hand and opted to say, I would like the articles that you post and the opportunities that you post on to end up in my newsfeed. A member of LinkedIn only follows on average a number of 6 different companies. And you can imagine, a lot of times the companies they follow are either competition or somebody regarding the industry. If you guys can establish yourself as one of those 6 companies, it's really often not happening that they actually, unfollow certain companies. So if you guys are putting valuable content out, you're going to have a strong follower base that's, as you can see on the bottom, 10 times more likely to share the content distributed by your company. They're 3 times more likely to apply for jobs. Essentially, they're willing to be a brand ambassador because, again, you guys are putting out valuable content. It's relevant to them, and they can push it out quickly and easily to their networks and build their own personal brand because of this. They look good, and it's going to give you guys credit at the same time. So I think the most important one is almost at the top. That 78% more likely to accept in-mail is a huge reason to invest just a little bit of time weekly into growing your guys' follower base, and I'll show you guys some examples of how to do that. So last slide here. 2 things you guys should be doing on LinkedIn right now. Maybe we'll call it 3. The first would be going and joining that group I mentioned. And within that group, there is a second video on the Bootstrap or the LinkedIn Bootcamp, Recruiting the Digital Age, which again applies to salespeople as well. The second one is on rebranding yourself and your personal profile. So really make sure that you can have the best profile you can have. And after this screen here, I'll share my desktop and walk you guys through a successful profile, what that might look like. Again, if you have once this is posted in the group, you'll be able to watch the video on this one. I linked it directly to that personal branding piece. And then secondly would be and this is a very quick and easy thing you guys can do on a daily basis. And if I were probably to ask for raise a hand, I'm sure everybody would do this. Have you liked, shared, or commented on any article on LinkedIn in, say, the past 2 weeks? Now, this is good for salespeople and recruiters as building your own personal brand, like I mentioned. It definitely helps to say, hey, Joe knows what he's talking about. That's some great stuff. But they may not associate me with the company that I work for. And again, it's going to be hard to convert them into a follower. It's going to be hard to get them to really understand the value proposition of our brand if I can't get them to that page. So as you'll notice here on this company page snapshot I've taken, under recent updates, the first link there, Healthcare Revenue Cycle Consultants. This article, you can see on the top left of it, there's actually a blue link back to RGP. So what this means is anywhere that this particular article gets shared, it's going to create a link back to your company page. You guys already have almost 40,000 followers, which is awesome. I can see this grow much, much higher and even quicker. And again, it's really not just about growing the numbers, but it's attracting the right types of talent and prospects to your brand. And again, making sure that they know exactly what it is that they should do and what they're going to get out of quote-unquote partnering, following, or engaging with you at your company. So basically, you see articles like this on the company page. What I want you to do is everybody should be following their company already, but as you see at the bottom, underneath the impressions and clicks and interactions, you see like, comment, share. And what I want you guys to do is just instead of clicking like and comment or sharing directly to your open network, if you click share, I can actually target groups that I'm in. And I can share these articles to relevant groups. And I can also write a simple comment or discussion topic around why I'm posting it, the value behind it, what my perspective and thoughts were, and maybe posing a question to generate discussion. Generating discussion is one of the quickest ways to get your article and posting to rise to the top of the group and get noticed in people's inboxes much, much faster. If it's a topic that keeps getting hits and comments and likes and interaction, it's going to continue to stay at the top of that group, and the new talent that's funneling in there and prospects that are funneling in there are absolutely, going to be seeing this. And the more repetition and saturation we have with brand and value communicating at the same time, this is going to grow, what they see, the perception of your business on LinkedIn, and they're going to be able to quickly and easily click that RGP link, show up at this company page, and again, if we build this foundation correctly, they're going to see this extremely valuable value prop that they've got here and say, wow, this is exactly what I've been looking for. This is so timely. I love the message and what they're trying to convey here through this page. And I want to become a follower. And of course, Joe, I'd love to connect with you and talk to you about some of the opportunities we could have in partnering with your guys' firm. So yeah, this is, again, telling the real story of you guys through all of your profiles. They should all be consistent and, again, share the exact same messaging strategy. And, again, what I want you guys to do is make sure you're following the company page. If there's something in your industry that you want to see there, pass it along, to the higher ups of your company, whoever's in charge of marketing, say a reason why you want them to post a certain article, get obviously their blessing on this. And as things are posted, go ahead, instead of just clicking share to the network, share the specific groups on LinkedIn that you know that your prospects or talent are hanging out in. Because if we go into these groups with without being perceived as transactional, obviously this is the ideal situation where we're coming in as this like knight in shining armor, this hero, sharing great thought pieces and industry updates and things that are valuable to these groups. That's what groups are for. Again, people join them not to be hounded. They join them because they want to learn. And if you're able to open up their mind to something and help them realize, again, a problem or an opportunity that they hadn't seen in the past, that's sales at its finest. They're coming to you. You're a magnet versus always going out and trying to shoulder tap and write a really, really compelling email, which, again, is just as important. But I would say that this is a really quick and easy way to do this at mass scale. And again, as you might know, that when you search on LinkedIn, look for certain job titles that you want to target as you're prospecting. Sometimes it's up to the person, the member themselves, on how they want to define themselves by industry, by job title. And it's really important that we, again, draw them out of the woodworks from these groups, because chances are, if they're smart and sharp and joining the right groups, there's a better talent hanging out in. But we can't always go find them to reach out to because of the way that they have labeled themselves. So this is an easy way to drop a magnet in the middle of that group, draw them out, look to get the opportunity to interact and engage with our brand, and hopefully be able to convert and come to us and share us throughout their networks and their friends and their groups, other things, to share you guys, again, with that RGP logo, always attached. So pretty simple stuff, but extremely effective. So what I'm going to jump to now is actually sharing my desktop here. So again, here is the group I mentioned, LI for RGP. Some recent articles we've been posting, how to find contractors and consultants on LinkedIn. Maybe we can find you guys through the same search string. Talked about top recruiting cliches and buzzwords. I posed a lot of different questions within the group to get, just feedback and responses. I would love to hear what you guys think about some of these topics. There's some recruiting related content, again, maybe requesting what you want to learn. Here is that second boot camp session. I talked about rethinking your profile. Again, really building meaningful relationships here and making it clear what your value proposition is. We've got the Modern Recruiter's Guide. There's a ton of great content. It's not just recruiting related. I'm going to start kind of dropping in more sales articles in here as well. But again, all you got to do is come up here, start a discussion, let me know what it is that you want to learn more about, or you can respond to my posting and let me know, what videos or suggestions and tips you guys want to see. So LI for Resources Global Professionals. So again, I mentioned talking about the absolute best profile you guys can have, not to say that mine is the best on all of LinkedIn, but I want to show you guys some examples of what comprises a really, really great profile. So very importantly, as you guys might find it redundant, a good headshot is very important, whether it be from the bust up or it be, and I definitely suggest even larger on the face. Again, we want to be memorable. We want to be able to be recalled and recognized. So no sunglasses, no time at the beach, no side profiles. You should be a straight-on front-facing headshot. People ask me all the time about the tagline that you have up here. So I try to structure my profile, again, to mostly educate. And so I start with a tip of the day, or I talk about essentially what kind of my mission or what drives me is, and how that relates to what I do in business and how it can help people. So, you're welcome to put just your job title at current company. I definitely suggest, since you guys are there for consulting, you have a passion around growing businesses and helping them be successful. So mold that into something that you think is powerful and also shares what you do as part of the RGP family. Summary, I like to always call out what I think that people should do after reading my profile. If they're interested in something in particular or recognize, again, opportunities, I can encourage them to visit the company page that I'm a part of, and then I also encourage them to connect and really consume the content on my profile. And something you may have seen on some people's profiles that is, I would say, probably less common than not, is, again, adding media to your profile. So we don't want to overload it, so we want to be selective, but in my last role here and a lot of the firms I work with, a lot of my other strategic accounts are mostly just search and staffing. And so I basically created a little video set here on, and again, this is the right way to build your company presence, and this is a great article page here on the web. And then here I've actually got a 2-minute video tutorial on how to really set up a successful page. I have links to our Talent Solutions blog for recruiting, and then I have some different videos here on our platform and how it makes an impact. So by the way, again, this is not just about me. This is about me teaching who's coming to my profile, again, what's valuable to them, what I do and how it relates to them, and how I can help them be more successful before we even interact. 60% of all prospects, whether it be talent or possible clients you want to work with, 60% of the time they will actually do their research before ever engaging, ever messaging, ever picking up the phone or taking your call about your business and what you guys have to offer. So more important than anything is, again, building the right personal presence and then also the right company page, and how can you guys, again, be in syncopation, share the same story, the same value proposition, and make sure that it's consistent across the board so that no matter where these touch points go out, through articles that you guys share to these groups, to the emails that you guys send, to the jobs you guys post, to the white papers you guys submit onto LinkedIn or publish, to the company page and the message or your summary, it's always got to share the same message so that we convert at that high rate and make sure that everybody gets the same experience and ends up at the company page and converts to a follower, where again those stats boost and you guys have a much easier opportunity to convert them into potential clients and talent you want to place. When you talk about your experience within a given company, you want to talk about what your role is and how it adds to the total mission of the company. So a lot of times they just describe what the company does, but you want to talk about what your particular role does that adds value to, again, the overall mission and why you care about that. So I also like to take and publish things here. These are part of our webinar series. It's pretty easy to put in media content to your profile. All you got to do is click edit, and I'm sure you've seen these buttons before. But right below, right next to the edit button for actually editing the summary, there's actually a link here to add link or upload file. So if you have a PowerPoint, or if you want to upload, or add a link to a YouTube video or something from your marketing team, very quick and easy to just add these in, and I can actually write in what I want this small tagline at the bottom to be. So really think about, again, the messaging you want to convey, the value, and why. What's going to make somebody really want to click on one of those postings you have here. If you do have your skills listed, I would suggest not taking endorsements from those who aren't relevant and don't know exactly or have seen your efforts within a given skill set. I also would say I used to get a lot of endorsements for things that I didn't even do or that I wouldn't want to project that I was very good at. It's kind of stuff from my past that I kind of left off. And that my suggestion would be is to edit these skill sets, rearrange them based on what's important to you so you can get more endorsements for the ones that are important to you. And again, it's establishing credibility. But again, on top of all this credibility that we're showing, past experience, we want to, again, educate with our profiles, talk about the value proposition of the businesses that we work with and how it collects up to, how does this help them? And what can I teach them here? So I would love to see a redone summary in everyone's profile and some of the articles or marketing material or videos or anything you guys have on RGP or clients you've worked with and case studies, obviously at your discretion. That kind of stuff is super valuable to say, wow, look at the impact they've had in this business. Look at what they stand for. How are they being different and innovative? Stuff's awesome. So my last suggestion would be is really just to fill out your entire profile, because as a salesperson or a recruiter, I can't tell you the number of times where it's been, something I wrote on my profile about being a spear fisherman or a lobster diver that has gotten me a conversation. We want to create as many warm touch points as possible to give ourselves ample opportunity to make that connection and develop that relationship. Because on LinkedIn, an email really should be about building a relationship. It's not about making the sale or, getting that candidate to say yes on the first go right off the email. It's not a silver bullet, but this is about establishing relationships at scale. And that's what our tools are meant to do, to build massive pipeline. And then also if you're building, again, the right company presence and sharing this value and educating and mentoring, you're going to have a highly engaged, highly sensitive environment of followers who, when you put that message out for an opportunity to grow their business, to consult with them, or to place them in a great role at an amazing developing company, they're going to be very, very receptive. So again, I mentioned to you guys, here's that video, LinkedIn Bootcamp 2, Rethinking Your Profile. It's really easy, valuable stuff here. So I do have, see here, and for those interested and for those who are using Recruiter at the current moment, I definitely wanted to show you guys just some quick tips and tricks here on Recruiter and some things people don't think about often. I think some of the most underutilized features of our recruiting platform, one of them would be tagging profiles. So as you guys build out your projects and look at, for example, a list of potential candidates that you want to work with, you can actually attach keywords to these profiles that you can recall at any given moment. And I'm sure for those in biz development would be interested in some of the stuff on this recruiting platform as well, as far as how can you guys partner and team up just for some insights. So I will point on some things that are highly relevant, and in a few quick seconds, some of your teammates that you're close with can help you guys out easily. But one of the things I do in building projects is I'm obviously vetting candidates or prospects to look at, what do these people have in common, and how can I add, keywords to these profiles in case I disband this project folder or housing space later, and I lose David, Randy, and Bob. How can I recall them? And so at mass scale, I can add these tagging feature here, and I can tag them as, HR or prospect or 100K plus salary or a player. You can basically describe what it is that you want to tag them with, and then in the future I can actually, again, recall these people who I essentially have vetted and looked through and deemed worthy of these tags and worthy of my time to at least consider for a particular job. So this saves a lot of time when working backwards. One of the other things I want to show you guys, and this is where I think salespeople will really be interested as well, how do we recognize opportunities on LinkedIn to find businesses that are either losing or gaining talent mass and scale, or where are businesses growing in certain ways? And so as I'll show you really briefly right here, let's just say, for example, I was looking for an account executive, like a salesperson in the U.S., just to kind of give you guys an idea of how you can leverage filters. So I come up with a list: account executives, salespeople. So I can look at current. I'm just going to do let's do sales. It'll be a lot larger amount. So on filters, you guys can leverage this within regular LinkedIn as well. But you can see when regarding the word sales, I can look at current companies. I can look at past company. And when I look at years of experience, I can say less than 1 year. So when you think about and you can think of this on regular LinkedIn, when you use filters to identify talent, no matter how large a network, it's helpful to see who, again, is gaining or losing talent at massive scale. And if you think about the type of talent you're talking about, it gives you an opportunity to see, where businesses would want to partner with you guys. How do you identify opportunities? So you can see I could have been more descriptive potentially on the job title itself that I wanted to target, but I can see, 302 people within just under the last year have been added to IBM, 296 to Walmart. I get to see a list of people here who are adding mass talent of sales, and I can see who has lost the most talent. Walmart lost 2,000 salespeople within the last year. So thinking again, this is again the Boolean search kind of lesson here, is really thinking about filters as a way of gaining insights into how talent is moving and what does that mean for salespeople and opportunities, saying, hey, they're ramping up in this kind of way. Here's the things that are happening I can look at particular industries and functions, and I can see, okay, here's industry I want to target. Again, what's changing the most, and how can I see, where this company lies in benchmarking to the rest of the competition, and are they prepared to be successful, or maybe who can I reach out to with a very targeted message, and again, not just say, hi, I'm Joe with RTP, here's what we specialize in, would love to chat with you about this. It's saying, here's the external factors that I see in your economic, the marketplace and the economic conditions, building into how you guys are going to be successful. I noticed that there's a lot of talent that's happening like this on LinkedIn, and companies are ramping up in these types of ways. Would love to talk with you about how you're preparing talent or hiring to achieve your goals. So again, thinking about different ways that we can leverage filters to be more targeted and successful in our email messaging is one of the most amazing ways I think people really generate really higher response rates on LinkedIn. As well here, so again, we're looking from a regular search on LinkedIn. I have filters as well, and one of the other things I always like to look at when targeting talent, whether it be in Recruiter or other places, is actually looking at the groups function. And again, if I were to apply more filters and look for that A-player talent or prospect where I think all of the exact types of potential clients are sitting on LinkedIn, I can look at the groups that they're hanging out in and get the most common groups that they are joining. I can go request to join those groups, and those are the ones that we want to share those articles to with a thoughtful message in the right place to the relevant people to attract them out, find our personal profile, find our company page, and with that right foundation built, convert them into a follower, again, to sales, to an engaged candidate, to a placement. So again, precept upon precept, it all builds up. My suggestion would be to start with joining the group on LinkedIn, going through this second session of rebuilding your personal profile. You can ignore the fact, salespeople, that I say the word recruiting in this. It really shares the exact same message and same basic concepts. Go through and make these changes to your profile. And again, as we're running search, you want to think about leveraging groups. We want to be more targeted and see how can we go in there and again, create that magnet effect of posting this thought leadership, great content to really establish yourself as that consultant firm of choice within these given industries and make it very clear on what the next step is. That's something I stress a lot in the webinar series is, okay, what are people doing? What does your profile say now? What do you want it to say? What do people do after viewing your profile right now? What do you want them to do? Let's be intentional about this, and let's take them along this journey. Again, every email you send, what's in the top left corner? Your photo, which links to your profile, which links to your company page. This is the way that this talent and prospects move throughout LinkedIn as well. So didn't want to take up the entire morning for you guys, but wanted to make sure we covered a good amount of topics, introduce you to the resources you guys had available. If there's any specific types of questions you guys want to cover in as far as challenges you're having in sales and recruiting, again, join this group, see if your question might already be answered here. And after that, let me know what it is you guys are struggling with or you want to learn more about. I love to make the, quick 2-minute videos on how to be successful. And I've got a great group of people on my team here, from those product consultants and media specialists. They can really help you guys to do this. But again, this the thought leadership side, and just instead of liking, sharing, and commenting like you generally do, just take one extra step, post to the company page, share it from your company page to those targeted groups, draw them out, and then, once they're engaged with your brand, start leveraging those filters, again, to really create a more targeted message. And I will share with you one thing we went over just a few weeks ago at a Chicago Learning Center, or learning kind of session we had for LinkedIn. We had a discussion on executive engagement. So one of the things we talked about, and you guys might already do this, but is really important, is really looking at if it's a publicly traded company, the annual reports, looking at the letter to the shareholders. This is something that I never really thought about when reaching out to search and staffing firms, large ones, because, hey, we're LinkedIn, and they know who we are, and, I can probably just kind of, build a nice discussion here and start a discussion with this team. But if I can really truly partner with this company, and I'm looking at their initiatives for the year, the external factors and economic conditions that are affecting how they're doing business, and the struggles they had over the last 12 months, how they got through those, what they're looking ahead to do, and how they're going to be successful, I can really understand the fears and dreams that are going on behind the scenes, so that I can truly not just be, again, that metaphor, we have the salespeople sitting across the table from them, but how do we partner and sit next to them and look at these solutions together and truly, again, deeply care to understand what it is that they fear, and then what their dreams are. And again, and the easiest, quickest way to do this, again, to be reminded of is, if they're public, go ahead and take a look at those letters to shareholders and annual reports. So establish brand, create the snowball effect through thought leadership, leverage the group I've created here on LinkedIn for you, and the best practices, postings, how to build a better profile. I would definitely suggest following your clients if you're not already, to stay up to date on the news and things that they're pushing out. And again, just try to partner and be really on the same side of the fence as them by leveraging the strategic initiatives that they're putting out there publicly, or that they're sharing through this company page, and see if you can turn around and write some thoughtful comments on some of the postings they're putting out, so they can really see you and respect you guys as a brand, and make that easy traveling journey from, the comment or the article to the email, through your profile company page conversion. And again, this is just me sharing what we see happening on LinkedIn today that really is making companies extremely successful, and really building a huge magnetic brand on LinkedIn that's clear, consistent, and valuable. So wanted to leave the last few minutes here, 5 to 10 minutes, for any questions you guys have. There is a chat box on the right-hand side of your window. So again, we'll stay on for 5 more minutes, and I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have. We can keep going, but I'll give you guys just a few minutes to post. So thank you again for your participation and sticking around. Well, I don't see anybody writing in the chat box, but definitely happy if you guys want to later on. Again, if you post in the group, I'm very quick and responsive to the posts that are in there. And again, please just let me know what it is you guys want to learn more about. If there's any concepts you guys want to explore deeper together, happy to, again, put up content, get some input from our product consultants, and maybe just share anything else that you guys want or want help with on LinkedIn. So thank you guys so much for joining. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Take care.